Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Kat, known as phamerina.planning here on YouTube and on Instagram, and today's video is a plan with me for the week of March 24th through March 30th using this kit from Starlight Paper Studio called Wildflower. It's this beautiful sunsetty purple kit foiled in rose gold. It's inspired by the song Wildflower by BTS member RM. It captures um, like the feeling of that song. I'm going to be transparent. I didn't really hear of this song until this collection came out. What immediately drew me to this collection was the colors, the moodiness. Um, that's what really got me. So when I sat down to do this, I was trying to figure out. I knew from the get that I wanted to do a center horizontal scene, and since I wanted to do a center horizontal scene, I wanted to keep my date cover area relatively simple because there was going to be um, a lot of detail in the middle, and of course the bottom always has the bottom washi, so there's always like a large area of color and interest down at the bottom already. So I knew I wanted to keep my date cover area simple. I got set up and I was like, all right, let me make sure I hit play and pause. At first I sat down for a while and I was like, do I just do the clouds? Do I try to put color in the background? Is the clouds just going to be too boring? And I decided to just go with the clouds and kind of stack them. But I didn't realize that I wasn't filming after I finished my entire date cover area, so I'm so sorry about that. Not that difficult, I had my clouds up there, and since I had the clouds up there, I wanted to keep it mostly empty, so I didn't do date covers for that very specific reason, because I feel like the date covers would have weighed the that date cover area down. So I wanted it to feel light, like you were looking at the sky. So that's why I decided to pull in scripts instead. Then for my bottom area, I I wanted more than just the two washies. I did want a somewhat organic edge. I think, let me hold on. Let me just think about those in the kit. So you had that dark purple bottom washi and the pink, and I think the lace washi was purple, but I didn't want to pull into the purple again because I wanted a third bottom washi on here. So I pulled in the torn paper washies from Dash of Sun. However, as I was laying, I believe it was when I was laying that down, it fell on top of the bottom washi. And since that is such a dark color, the sticker pulled up a little bit of the color. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to figure out how to cover it because it's very obvious. So I decided to put a butterfly on top of that one. And then to make sure to balance out the other side, I had to put a butterfly on that one. So that's why I had butterflies on my bottom washies. It was more of a necessity rather than a stylistic choice. So I wanted to create a center scene, like I said earlier, and I knew I wanted to keep the wildflower scene all together on the one side, on the right side, and on this side, I wanted to pull into those lighter color boxes, because I knew I wanted to put the tree. And see, I'm working my brain thought worked backwards, but I wanted to pull the tree in, and the trunk was on the right, so I had to build that moment out towards the center, towards the left, so therefore it couldn't go on this side, because I did want to keep my sidebar in the sidebar area. So I wanted to work I had to work left right here. So I was like, all right, let me pull in these lighter color boxes on this side. So I have a lot of a decision. I wouldn't call it fatigue, but I was just like, how do I want to do this? And I tried it because you could see I tried it a couple different ways, and I wasn't vibing with some of it. And then I was like, maybe I try to pull another full box in. To me, it was very hard to just tilt these boxes just because of the white, right? I don't know, with the fact that the boxes didn't have a very clearly defined edge, and I was trying to stay away from using box liners. made it a little like they were really floating in space here. So I was kind of struggling with that. That's why I pulled in a deco piece from the journaling kit just to take up some more space, because I did want to try to use as many of my full boxes as possible, but it just wasn't working. So I want to take a little moment here because I did some learning, right? I did some learning about like what this song was about. Like if you look at the imagery on this and this artwork, there's a very kind of somber mood to it. Um if you're not like has someone who was not very familiar with this song, I was just like, what is like I could tell that the story was about, it wasn't necessarily happy, but it wasn't necessarily sad either, you know? It felt a little introspective, like the cat sitting and looking out the window. You have like the piano and the books. Like it felt like an introspective piece, right? So I did a little bit of homework. I did a little bit of looking. I did listen to the song. I do listen to the song like every once in a while. It comes up on my Spotify and I listen to it. Um, and I learned quite a few things. Um, that this was the lead single for RM's. I think this was his solo album. I think it was his first one, or it was a solo album by RM. Um, I didn't I thought I was, because I thought his name was Rap Monster, and then all of a sudden, like I just started. I was like, maybe it's just an abbreviation. But then I learned, at some point, he changed his name from Rap Monster to RM. And I'm sorry if I'm like not getting details 100%, but this is just from my brief homework here. Um, and the song is very much about um, the loneliness that comes from fame, how dreams can change. From my understanding, he started out in like poetry, or wanting to do poetry, um, but what is rap but poetry set to rhythm. um, but there is a kind of like somberness, a kind of melancholy to the song, and it's like not a sad, it kind of feels, I've said it before, introspective, and that's really what this song is about. It's about looking, about how he was looking into his life, or looking at his life, and seeing where he is, and how fame can feel like you're being shackled. How like how achieving your dreams can also be overwhelming, how fame is overwhelming. Like these are regular people, at the end of the day, right? They're regular people. They understand they have fans. They understand, and there's a way to being famous, that you don't want to disappoint your fans. But at the same time, you're just a regular person who has needs, who has desires, who has dreams. So if your desires, dreams conflict with the fans' desires, like who do you let down, right? Who do you what dreams do you let go of, or whatnot? And it's a very nuanced song. I'm not going to get to everything about it, but I think it's a very evocative piece. I was very curious about the line, light of flower work, and I was trying to like, I was like, is it just playing on the fact, um, that the song's about wildflowers and how wildflowers thrive, um, and that they have their own kind of wild beauty to it, and they thrive from not season to season, but from year to year. Um, and there's like a beauty to the wildflower, and it was like a flower work, kind of playing on that idea. um, but then there's also the line, I'm going to shine across that sky, which is part of that was the quote on the quote box. um, and it's got like a million different meanings from what I can find. um, the one of the interpretations is that like fireworks, They're brief, they're flashy, they're beautiful, but then they disappear, right? They're up there for a few seconds and then they're gone. Um, the line about being a flower work is kind of, it ties into, how we see petals fall from the sky and then they still land on the ground, and there's still a certain beauty to that. Um, so it's kind of more of a desire to be more long lasting than a firework. Um, and like that's, I think that's such an interesting way to think about our impact on, or in this life, right? Sometimes when I really get introspective, I think about what is the legacy I'm going to be leaving in this world. Right. I'm no Einstein. I'm no Michael Jackson. I'm no Kamala Harris. I'm just a regular person. I'm a mom that had like to a son. I am a wife to a husband. I'm a daughter to a mom, a dad, a family. I have a family. Like I have like some small scientific papers that I've contributed to, but like I'm not out there like making huge changes. I'm not famous. But do I want to be? I don't know. Like I think about it every once in a while. Like because I thought about going into acting. I've thought about going into music. Um, and sometimes I wonder, like how different my life would look if I'd pursued those things. Um, and what impact I have, or what is my legacy on this world, or going to be, right? And most of the time the conclusion I come to is that I am content if my impact is in my small community, if my family thinks of me as a good person, if they know that they can come to me for support, if like the positive feeling, like if I've left something positive on them, then I'm content with that being my legacy. Like I don't want my names necessarily to be in the books. I don't necessarily need to do something big. I like the thought of having these small personal interactions being hopefully what people remember me for um, down the line. So it's a very like, sorry this got really like sort of deep, but these are like the things that I've thought about after like working on this artwork. Makes me think, it makes me very introspective, a little melancholy. Um, and now we're at the day by day. I did want to point out, to just bring some sparkle up into that day cover area, I did bring the foiled birds in, and then for my sidebar, I went and pulled from the Polaroids. I think there's also like it might be the lyrics and Polaroid sheet. I do not remember exactly off the top of my head. Um, but since I still had some like foiled deco from like that was part of full boxes, I decided to emulate my full boxes in the rest of my sidebar since I wasn't able to pull in like 4 of my full boxes because I didn't have the room. So if I've misspoken about anything, or you have thoughts on anything I've spoken about in regards to the song, please feel free to let me know down below. I'm, like I said, I just curious. I've listened to the song, but I don't relative like I listen to Korean music just to listen to Korean music. I don't really listen to it for the lyrics. So please feel free to educate me, or just let me know what your thoughts on the song are, because it's a very beautiful, melancholic song. It's very poetic, which I think was kind of what he wanted to go for. So it's definitely worth a listen. So on to the day by day now. Sorry, on to the day by day. Let's see. So where are we? Monday the 24th. Monday we started with a coffee Monday, and then it was just another rainy day. On Tuesday, my plan with me for the Imagine kit went live. I had to run around for bulk. If you remembered from the other video, We were going to do bulk on Wednesday, so I had to run around for bulk on Tuesday just to make sure we had everything. It was all good to go because it's a very long process, or it can be very long if something goes south. So I wanted to make sure that we minimize the potentials of something going south. And then I had a very lazy night that night. On Wednesday itself was bulk processing. This one was fairly, it went relatively well. We did end up being at a slightly lower volume than we were targeting. So that could mean that our product is slightly more concentrated than it should be, but hopefully it's like enough that it's not, that we don't, well, actually we could always just dilute it if we needed to. So it was not that bad. We did not have to have a long day, thank goodness. I had a planning session I marked Porkatsu next, and then we had a planning sesh. Sorry, this is a 2-day procedure. Wednesday is the setup. So Wednesday we have to set up this TFF. Like we have to build it, cartridge, reservoir, pumps, tubing, all that stuff. And then we have to do an ethanol incubation. So the TFF is stored in glycerol. Ethanol dissolves the glycerol. You don't want glycerol in your final product, so we need ethanol to dissolve the glycerol, and it also helps with performance and yada yada yada. So that's the first day. We do an overnight ethanol incubation, and then we actually run the procedure on Thursday. I was like, I don't remember Tuesday, Monday. Oh my goodness, Wednesday being that bad. Thursday was not that bad either. I had Happy Meal. It was my Miss and Meow order, and then it was MLB opening day. Oh. I think I marked that in the top. The MLB. On Friday, I had Dr. Coffee. I did some sticker shopping. I don't remember which one. Did I mark it down? Did I mark it down where I shopped? It was. That's February. Oh my God. 28th. Oh, Blissful J Designs. And Dash of Sun. Oh my goodness, that was a heavy shopping day. I do want to point out here, originally I was like, I think flower work, this was before I did my homework, like when I did the base, I wasn't sure if I could pull in fireworks, or if that would have been weird. Then I, actually read the lyrics and then read some interpretations, watched the music videos, and I was like, oh, they're definitely fireworks. I'm going to start pulling in fireworks in amongst these florals here, and then use the light of flower work from the lyrics sheet. So I just wanted to point that out, that I did end up inevitably pulling in the fireworks for that reason. And I thought, I just wanted to call it out. That's why. Friday. Oh, I've already started talking about Friday. Yeah, Dr. Coffee. I did some sticker shopping. And this was the day that Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine Deluxe Brighter Days Ahead came out. I did want to use the little playlist thing from Saucy Stickers, Starlight Q1 freebie. Oh my God, there's a mouthful. But it was not going to fit here. I didn't think about that when I laid this sticker down. I should have swapped 2 of the things, but it was too late. I was not about to pull all of this up. So I enjoyed the Brighter Days Ahead extended version. Dandelion is a bop. I need her to go back on tour so I can see that. And that, there is such the little video, the little movie that accompanied it. It's so well produced. Clearly budget for days. Very, very good short film. I remember during that fourth segment, when we're at the bar and we're looking at that bag. Slight spoiler warning if you haven't seen it yet. And I'm looking at it. I was like, "Is that a heart in the bag?" Because it was beating. And then the next moment, the scene changes, and you can hear a heartbeat. If you're listening with really good headphones, I was like, "This is such good sound design, sound engineering, so good." Okay, sorry. Back to this. Let's breeze through. On Saturday, I had breakfast with my boys. Did a Costco run. It was a cleaning day, and then on Sunday, it was a Target run. I put away all of Bub's toys from all of the rooms. It was, I do that like every other week. I just put everything back where it belongs. And then I did voiceovers and finished the night with a planning sesh. That is the spread. I really love how this came out. It's just so pretty, and these are the kit leftovers. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. I don't normally I use a kit that I used in the same month as my monthly, but I'm thinking I might push this to a little later because, like, month wise, this feels a little more summer to me. I just wanted to use it in March because, like, at the end of March, because the next kit I'm going to use after this is a very dark nighttime rainy kit. So this was my sunset into those nighttime, that nighttime kit. That was the story. Um, but I'm not sure. I think I'm going to use this as a monthly later on. So that's a video. Here's my center scene. I just wanted to highlight this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love it if you gave it a little like. Leave a comment with any of your thoughts down below. Have you ever heard the song? What do you think of it? Let me know. And then I would be so happy if you joined my little channel here by subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.